So Pakistan's middle class has really grown big in the past 20 years or so. And Imran Khan is really liked by the middle class. The other thing is that the previous other politicians and parties, people are not happy with them.
Correct.
So they feel that Imran Khan is a better alternative, even though he did not deliver in his office, even though he may not have a plan to fix Pakistan, but he's better than the Sharifs and the Zardaris and the Bhuttos. So there's that element as well. But I think since his removal, Imran Khan has very effectively played the victim card. He says he's been unfairly removed. So remember that we as a people are also emotional people.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So we go with the underdog. किसी के साथ जुल्म हो
हाँ.
तो हमारा दिल जो ना
हमारे
हम
बहुत
कहते
आंसू
देखो
निकल
यार
गए,
इसको
yeah.
बेचारे को निकाल दिया इतना अच्छा
हमारे आधे ड्रामा सिर्फ रोने में निकल जाते हैं।
बिल्कुल तो वो ड्रामा ये रियल लाइफ पॉलिटिकल ड्रामा हो रहा है
Yeah.
तो हम कहते देखो यार इतना हैंडसम इतना ईमानदार इसको निकाल दिया इन चोरों ने डोंट फॉरगेट दैट the current government in Pakistan has also not delivered well. They have, because of the IMF conditions, they have raised the prices of electricity, fuel. So people are under severe economic hardship. So which also makes them inclined towards Imran Khan. That's why Imran Khan is very popular now. And he may, if you have an election tomorrow or in a few months, he is going to win the election.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Amina. I know it's been a while, but I'm back with a bang. Today, I'm going to be in conversation with a gentleman who once introduced himself as Nagri Nagri Phira Musafir Ghar Ka Rasta Bhool Gaya. A wanderer by his own admission. He has been involved in a multitude of things in his life and has excelled at every single one of them. Yes, that's the truth. So starting off as a civil servant, then leading peace missions in Kosovo, and then finally finding his passion as a journalist and as a writer, I am going to talk to Mr. Raza Rumi. Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, salam.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you for having me this afternoon.
It's my pleasure to have you here and talk to you. So I'm not going to stand in between you and Mr. Rumi. I'm going to let him talk to you about his own exploits. Mr. Rumi, if you could briefly tell us about your journey in life up until this point. आप यहाँ तक कैसे पहुँचे? आपके adventures, misadventures, everything.
Misadventures कुछ ज़्यादा है, but you were very generous in your introduction. So yeah, I've done a multitude of things, as you rightly say, and I've been a civil servant. I used to work for the Asian Development Bank as a development practitioner, and also my stint in Kosovo as a peacekeeping mission staff. But then obviously my passion really was in writing and in journalism, and that's what I've been doing for the past I would say almost 2 decades now. And I moved here in the US in 2014, but it seems that now the wandering has stopped a bit, so I'm pretty much settled here and living here.
Roots.
Growing roots, yeah, once again, exactly, yeah. That's briefly what I've been up to.
One other aspect of his life that was really jumping out at me when I was researching you was your advocacy for freedom of speech, and I know you've actually been penalized for that too.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about that a little bit and your Naya Daur.
Thank you. All of it's related to my media engagement. One of the reasons that I chose to become a writer and a journalist was that I very strongly feel about freedom of expression, about the importance of how citizens need to speak up and not accept injustice, and only if we were to push hard for a better world and speak about it, then we'll create change. So I'm and as you rightly said, I paid a bit of a price for that as well, a rather heavy price. One of the reasons the key reason I left Pakistan and to be here was because I faced an air assassination attempt in 2014, which I survived, thankfully, but my companion who was driving the car, he died in that attack. So it is very somber, but that has not undeterred me. And I've edited papers like the Daily Times. I'm still affiliated with the Friday Times. It's a known old paper. But then a couple of years ago, I started a digital startup called Nayador Media (NDM), which now is doing well. It has a YouTube channel, it has a website, two websites in Urdu language and English, and so it's making some impact. So which is nice, that while I teach here, I mean, my day job is with teaching at Ithaca College and Cornell University. But my sort of passion and what you would say other time is spent in pursuing Nayador.
Oh, that's incredible. So just tying into that, from that assassination attempt back in 2014, right?
Yes.
So do you feel that Pakistan as a whole has progressed from that mindset? I mean, are the youth, at least, if not, the older generation, more emancipated? You were recently in Pakistan. What's your take on that? If we have actually progressed mentally from that standpoint?
Well, I mean, in some ways we have. I mean, to be fair, because the thing is that more and more, I think internet and social media are playing a major role. The new generation is far more aware than I was, or perhaps even you were while you were growing up in Pakistan. They are more globalized, they have knowledge of the world, they can access things, But I think some fundamentals have not changed, and in fact, they may have become worse. And the most important one is the education system of Pakistan. So one is, of course, the numbers which are of kids who are out of school is so huge, staggering. Almost half the school-going age children are not in school. And those who are in school, I mean, the kind of education they receive and the higher education they receive is so problematic that it is not making them into more aware, critical thinkers. But in fact, it is a hodgepodge of different narratives and ideologies, and I think that's where I feel that a lot of improvement is needed, a lot of work has to be done. And people, who are here in the US or elsewhere, overseas Pakistanis, can certainly contribute a lot to improving the education system. Not just by setting up new schools, but supporting newer ideas, sending newer technologies, mentoring students and teachers over there. So I think that's a big critical need. So I would say it's a mixed bag.
Okay, yeah, maybe a little improvement, but still a long way to go.
Long way to go.
Because I was just also, I came across actually one of the polls that you mentioned in one of your recent interviews, where they did a poll, I believe, in Karachi, kind of testing the civic understanding or civic sense of the general population, and it seemed like a majority of the population wasn't even aware that vote of no confidence was actually a thing and could exist to overthrow a government, which is astounding. I mean, that people lack such civic sense, despite the fact, and I'm sure part of that population was actually educated, but just was unaware.
Exactly. So education, what we understand, it's not something that opens your mind there, or makes you think better, or makes you research more, or have a spirit of inquiry. That doesn't happen, unfortunately. So because there was a civics subject in the up to 1970s, and then 1980s civics was removed, and in fact they put in something called Pakistan Studies, which I'm sure you also studied as a doctor.
Yes.
Medical in your medical education, that's a compulsory,
right?
And if you're an engineer, if you're a doctor, if you're doing BA, MA,
and that's how we took it, just that ke padna hai Pakistan Studies kisi tarah aur usko pass karna hai, kyunki it's a compulsory subject.
Bas.
I don't know how much of about Pakistan or civics we actually learned from it. It was just like we were just memorizing whatever facts and figures, and so it wasn't really educational, which kind of comes back to the same point that
exactly
it wasn't developing our civic sense.
Exactly, because for civic sense is about what are your rights as a citizen, what are your duties, what's a good citizen. So if you want to stop at a traffic light, if you don't want to throw trash on the road, if you want to help your neighbors, or be a member, active member, a good member of the community, these things are not taught anymore.
Exactly.
Ethics are not taught. Ethics are supreme
Yes.
to all other ideologies. Basic ethics.
Yes.
Being a good person.
Yes.
It's no rocket science, but you have to teach kids at a very young age, and that's the problem there. A big gap that exists.
It actually comes back to, I think our leaders, I mean, look at them. What kind of an example are they setting? I mean, just recently with all that political turmoil that we went through, a lot of mudslinging between political leaders. So that's obviously setting a really, really bad example.
Exactly.
Yeah, so,
exactly.
Obviously that needs to be worked upon too. Just tying into that, very recently, this whole, like I said, the political upheaval, there was this whole anti-American sentiment that was kind of, propagated, promoted, and, kind of used as a ploy to avoid overturning the government. What are your thoughts about that? And, how prevalent is that sentiment still in Pakistan?
So there is a sizable number of people who have always thought that America has meddled in Pakistan's affairs. I mean, Pakistan and America have a troubled history.
True.
I mean, they have been partners and allies, from Cold War until recently, the so-called war on terror. We are recipients of US aid, US weapons, US largesse. But at the same time, there are a lot of misgivings about America. So politicians play on that. And that's what was happening, when Imran Khan, the former Prime Minister, was facing a vote of no confidence and the parties ganged up to oust him. He said there's a conspiracy hatched by the Americans. Yeah. And so then, so obviously when as you said, when the leader says that, the followers then say, oh, America is bad, and they're always meddling, they want to destroy Pakistan. And it's not a very good thing, because you see, the thing is that, if we have genuine grievances, then states take it up in a proper diplomatic function. It should not be a matter of on the streets. And then let's not forget, you and I are living here in the US. We are the diaspora, almost 500,000 Pakistanis or people who of Pakistani origin live in the US, right? And we live here, we contribute to this society, we also contribute to our homeland, but we get in a really difficult situation, because there that feeling is being drummed up against Americans, and you're an American too, right? So being an American is not a monolith.
No.
It could be a black person, it could be a Desi person, it could be a white person, it could be a Latino. So that narrative is very damaging, and I think we need to really fix that, because US is an important, and let's not forget, the US is the biggest destination for Pakistani exports.
Correct.
As a single country, almost all our exports come here, through which our exporters earn foreign exchange. The country earns foreign exchange. It's the third largest source of remittances that keeps the economy going. Now, what do you want to do? I mean, you want to break this relationship, and Pakistanis are going to suffer.
Yes.
So that's what really bothers me about this whole business.
So there are implications everywhere, far-reaching implications.
Correct.
So, just following up on that, it seems like Pakistani nation has a funny mentality, just for the lack of a better word, because, when we toppled Imran Khan's government, obviously, people, the general sentiment was that, he hadn't delivered on his promises. People were really upset, and, they were like clamoring for a change, right? Now we have a new government set up, and now you see how, just recently, the by-elections, he still had, he still kind of swept. And then I was just, a couple of days ago, he ran that telethon, 3 hours, and he collected like 500 crores.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's kind of hard to imagine, what people actually want. So I don't know, if you could comment on that, and going forward, what are we actually looking for as a nation?
It's a very interesting question, but a very complex one as well.
Yeah, I figured.
It's not an easy. There's no easy black and white thing. I think the thing is that Imran Khan was always popular.
Yes.
You know, when we were growing up, he was like a hero, figure.
Oh yes.
He was
He was worshipped.
Worshipped. You
Yes.
know, he's a great cricketer. He was a captain. He won the World Cup.
Yes.
He built the Shaukat Khanum Hospital. He set up a
You
university.
remember those videos where old women were taking off their jewelry,
Jewelry,
the only
yeah.
pieces of jewelry that they owned, and they were like giving them to him.
Yeah. They trusted him, and they still. So Pakistan's middle class has really grown big in the past 20 years or so, and Imran Khan is really liked by the middle class. The other thing is that the previous other politicians and parties, people are not happy with them.
Correct.
So they feel that Imran Khan is a better alternative, even though he did not deliver in his office, even though he may not have a plan to fix Pakistan. But he's better than the Sharifs and the Zardaris and the Bhuttos. So there's that element as well. But I think since his removal, Imran Khan has very effectively played the victim card. He says he's been unfairly removed. So remember that, we as a people are also emotional people.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So we go with the underdog. किसी के साथ जुल्म हो
हाँ.
तो हमारा दिल जो ना
हमारे
हम
बहुत
कहते
आंसू
देखो
निकल
यार
गए,
इसको
yeah.
बेचारे को निकाल दिया इतना अच्छा
हमारे आधे ड्रामा सिर्फ रोने में निकल जाते हैं।
बिल्कुल तो वो ड्रामा ये रियल लाइफ पॉलिटिकल ड्रामा हो रहा है
Yeah.
तो हम कहते देखो यार इतना हैंडसम इतना ईमानदार इसको निकाल दिया इन चोरों ने और अब इसके पीछे लग जाओ तो पाकिस्तान में इस वक्त ये सेंटिमेंट था जब मैं था आई ऑल्सो रियलाइज दैट बट ऑल्सो डोंट फॉरगेट दैट the current government in Pakistan has also not delivered well. They have, because of the IMF conditions, they have raised the prices of electricity, fuel. So people are under severe economic hardship. So which also makes them inclined towards Imran Khan. That's why Imran Khan is very popular now. And he may, if you have an election, tomorrow or in a few months, he is going to win the election.
Oh, so you're foreseeing a comeback.
Most likely,
Interesting.
there's a comeback because of his popularity, and overseas Pakistanis have a big role to play. So Imran Khan is also a very effective player of social media machine.
जी हाँ.
आपके यहाँ पीटीआई वाले सारे भरे हुए हैं.
Exactly. So actually, this again raises an interesting question. क्योंकि कई दफ़ा, when we have conversations, our dinner conversations, or when we get together over here in US, and you're like, Pakistan में हम ये advocate करते हैं, like you said, there's a huge support of Imran Khan amongst overseas Pakistanis. And then people bring up this कि तुम लोगों को क्या पता, right? तुम लोग यहाँ पे बैठे वहाँ पे उसकी support कर रहे. You have no idea. You're not on the ground. You don't know about ground realities. So, is there any truth to it? Do you think we actually can assess what's happening here, or are we just sitting here kind of like,
I think earlier this argument was correct. That we had no idea of ground reality, but in the digital age, you are tied through the information technology by the second. Anything that's happening in real time, it's being live streamed, you WhatsApping and all this Facebooking and tweeting culture, Insta culture.
Yes.
It has really, so one of the reasons I've been able to pursue my work here is because of technology. I mean, I have to thank WhatsApp. One day I want to write a poem for WhatsApp, ode to WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Because you get real-time updates, you
Yes.
get videos and papers and documents and and you can call anyone for free.
Yes.
It's a great...
It's so funny. In Pakistan, even the person who's cleaning the road is WhatsApping you. And it's like a thing in Pakistan.
It's a thing. WhatsApp is like your tailor, your plumber, they all send you pictures.
Yes.
You want a dress like this?
Yes.
Is that the measurement? And that's technology.
Yes.
So Imran Khan's message has gone through those channels. Millions of Pakistanis use text messaging, WhatsApp groups, and his message is filtering through. And then of course we talk, he's raised anti-Americanism, he's used the religion card, वो Islamic touch. एक वीडियो आई थी जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि जरा Islamic touch दे दें तो वो के हर वक्त so he calls his jalsas, he calls them jihad. He talks that he's on the righteous path and his opponents are batil, evil, or so he's used religion effectively. He used the anti-American card, he's used the victim card, and he is doing well. I mean, I have to say that for Imran Khan has really come a long way from being this naive, one seat, one man show politician
Right.
to this really maverick, sly leader. And, and remember, this is also the age of personal, charismatic authoritarian figures like
Right.
Trump here,
Yes.
like Modi in India,
Yes.
like Erdogan in
It's
Turkey.
almost like cult following.
Cult following. So
Yeah.
Imran is no different. So we are in this age, it is a sign of times. Now whether it's right or wrong, it's a separate question, debate, right?
Yeah.
And I personally feel that I am not a fan of cults, by the way. I think I believe in systems, I believe in institutions and constitution, infrastructure, law, and Imran Khan feels he's above the law. His supporters, even here, you talk to any North American PTI supporter, of which they are 90%. So they say, क्या हुआ अगर उसने ऐसा कर दिया? क्या हुआ उसकी बीवी की फ्रेंड जो है वो गोगी, उसने पैसे ले लिए, वो अंगूठियां ले ली इन तोहफा. So what? ऐसी कौन सी बड़ी बात है? वो तो बाकी सब छोड़ बैठे. This is cult following. So you hear the same thing about Modi. In North America, majority of Indians who NRIs are Modi supporters.
Yes.
Okay, and where I live in rural, I live upstate New York. It's Trump land.
Trump,
Everywhere, and they're blind about Trump.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you tell them he stole the FBI documents, घर ले गया था, they're like, so
तो
what?
क्या हो गया?
क्या हो गया?
He was the president. He could
Yeah.
have done that.
Yeah.
People have done a lot worse. You
Yeah.
know, you hear these kind
So
of
sorry, my answer was very long,
No.
but I wanted to go through the different
Yeah.
aspects of it. Yeah.
No, it's totally. Actually, that's a very apt description of what's happening. People have closed their eyes to a lot of facts. So
Yes.
they're choosing to overlook things just because they think that the end that he's striving towards justifies the means he's using, which is not always the right
Yeah.
thing. So that's how the political situation is evolving. But in the current times, it seems like Pakistan is going through obviously a very, very harsh time. We've been hit by a natural calamity of gigantic proportions.
Oh yes.
Right?
Oh yes.
The loss of life, and the suffering that's happening in Pakistan is unparalleled.
Unparalleled.
Yeah. So, but it seems like that our political scene hasn't shifted a whole lot. We haven't gotten behind one slogan or one purpose to help. You see these talk shows still going on every single day where people are just bickering about like useless things or everyday politics or mundane issues. While I think it's time for us to get together as a nation and
absolutely, this should be the topmost priority.
Exactly.
I feel for Pakistanis everywhere, for us being here, for Pakistanis within Pakistan, the first issue is that our brothers and sisters in millions are sleeping under the roof,
Correct.
living in flood water, where disease is going to, as we were talking, is going to hit families, where they don't have their livelihoods. All their cattle has been washed away, their goats, their hens, their cows, their buffaloes, they are without their assets.
Nothing,
And this is like, it is stark. It's 35 million people, and we are talking about millions and millions of livestock, 90% of crops in Sindh, almost one fourth crops in the Punjab, and what the implications are catastrophic. And here is Imran Khan holding his political rallies, attacking his opponents. Now he attacks General Bajwa, the army chief, XYZ, and here's the government of the day attacking Imran Khan, as if they all have no sensitivity to what is happening to these people. They need to stop. Imran Khan has to stop this for at least a few weeks and go out and help those guys. The Punjab government and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government helicopters are being used to transport Imran Khan to rallies, and the government is using their helicopters for their own political stuff, while they should be going and picking people out,
exactly.
family out. They're still stranded.
Yes.
Today I was reading this morning Amina, that yesterday this morning there was a press conference in Pakistan by people who are doing rescue work. They say 90% of people have not been even reached. Only 10% have been given relief work, and वो इतने बुरे हालों में है. तो मैं through your platform and through your our discussion, I would really appeal. If you want to give it to Imran Khan, go ahead and give it. If you ED Trust को देना है, Government of Pakistan को देना है, provincial governments को देना है, there's a DEC appeal. Just give money to charities of your choice, but please donate. That's the least you can do while being here.
Absolutely.
And if you have the time, please go in a couple of weeks, and especially the medical practitioners, if you can go and help these communities to overcome disease, inoculation, please help that.
Yeah, no, I totally second this appeal. I think it's not what's the least we can do. I think we owe it to Pakistan at this point to help them in any capacity that we can, whether it's financial help. I think sitting over here, that's actually a major chunk of what we can do. And so we should all do that. And like Mr. Rumi was saying, that we should, as medical professionals, if we can, maybe use our 1 week of vacation that we're planning on going to Europe for, go back to Pakistan.
Correct.
And help people because they need medical help. Like he said, there's so many people that have not been reached. And the effect of these floods are going to be long lasting. It's not that they just need help now. They're going to need help for months and possibly years to come, because there's a lot of rebuilding to do. So they're going to keep needing our help. So we need to plan it out that way and, try to help them in any capacity that we can. And like he said, we're not advocating for one charity. Just give it to any charity of your choice. But please open those wallets up today and make donations for Pakistan. They need our help today. And thank you for spending time with us. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise.
Hopefully we can do this again sometime
Inshallah
later.
we will.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.